Oh, g'day. Oh, this? Welcome along to the TLC video on literacy. Today we're going to take you through what we've been up to over the last couple of years. So I want you to sit back, relax and enjoy the ride. How you going? Hey, do you mind coming back in a minute? Yeah, just doing a bit of filming. Is that alright? Cool. Alright, good. Oh, we're on. Today in the film we're going to hear from the different teachers in the group to find out what they've been up to over the journey. But first of all we're going to go to Deborah, and Deborah's going to explain a little bit more about what literacy is and what it means to us. Over to you, Deborah.
I just don't get it why they don't understand. Oh, thanks Patrick. According to the Australian curriculum, literacy involves students in listening to, reading, viewing, speaking, writing, creating oral, print, visual and digital texts, and using and modifying language for different purposes and different contexts. So it's a huge area. And so literacy is everybody's business. All teachers need to know the subject-specific literacies for their area. They need to help students with the special content words of their area and also how to write the special forms of writing or create the digital pieces that demonstrate the students' knowledge. Literacy is a shared responsibility. Literacy has been an important part of our site's strategic plan for a number of years now. And we have done as a staff, stepping out, and we've also had a look at literacy for learning. And what we've tried to do in our TLC is take the theory that we've been working on and apply it in classroom situations. And we've had a lot of fun doing it.
Very good. Thanks for that, Deborah. Now I'm going to hand over to Richard, who's going to explain what he's been implementing over the last year or so. Over to you, Richard.
Have you heard how long Patrick's segment's going on for? It's forever. It's about 20 minutes.
Yeah, can't get
I don't know, is anyone else going to get any time on? Oh, thanks for that, Patrick. My goals for this project were to increase literacy levels in my English classes by using a small group strategy for writing different types of texts. For example, this group constructed an argument essay. Each group of 2 or 3 was given a bookmark with instructions on it how to write one paragraph of the essay. So each team writes a different paragraph using a different technique, such as persuasive techniques like emotive language, statistics, scientific facts, sarcasm, or whatever you like. Later paragraphs are compiled into one document and displayed on screen so the whole class can see what's been written. A class can produce a 1,000-word essay or report like this quite quickly. So although I've written this activity to include text types such as expository essays, text analysis essays, science prac write-up and a discussion essay, it could be expanded to include any different text types that you like from different faculties and shared around.
And do you think literacy is important?
Yeah, definitely, because you need it and you use it in everyday life.
communicating to people and stuff?
Yes, because if we weren't able to communicate effectively, then we wouldn't be able to do some of the things that we can do.
And now it's back over to you, Patrick.
Thanks for that, Richard. Design and technology might not be the traditional home for learning about literacy. However, like all subjects, it's the foundation of what we do. Communicating ideas and knowledge, coupled with the understanding of subject-specific language, is key in design and tech. One task that I've run with the students is to try and improve the structure of the Stage 1 and 2 issues essay. The first step was to discuss students' prior knowledge of an analytical essay structure. Then students broke off into small groups and had to reconstruct an essay that had been cut into paragraphs, including the question and the references. From here, the class discussed the order of these paragraphs and then, most importantly, why they choose to put them in the order that they did. Following this, we looked at the structure of an analytical essay. I also discussed the construction of each paragraph using the TLC acronym, and that once they have written a paragraph, they should look to see if they've covered each letter: topic sentence, expand, evidence, and linking sentence. Students are later asked to share their draft with a peer in the class and cross-check that they had followed the structure and that their essay was fluent and made sense. I feel that this task has had a positive impact in the quality of the assignments and that the task gives the students some ownership over their work. I hope to be able to share this with the rest of the faculty and continue to work together to improve literacy in design and technology. I'm so overdoing this whole film thing. I just hate being on camera. Oh, what, it's still on? Oh, over to you, Ben.
Thanks for that, Pat. Okay, so within history, our goals for literacy are to increase kids' ability to be able to understand abstract and complex concepts, whether that be understanding words or phrases, the way that people actually frame their arguments and things like that. For us, for our NNL, we thought that this is important for kids when they're moving beyond school to be able to analyse the information that they see around them, whether it be through media, and it could be visual literacies, all of these different types of things. So with the particular task that we were doing was taking an issue, which was taking a standpoint and getting the kids to first of all understand why it was that the author had chosen to explain it, approach it in that way, get them to try and empathise with his particular point of view, and then actually have them sort of start to interrogate their own beliefs and understandings and come to some sort of conclusion about what they actually believe. So within that, they can't do it, there's no simple way, it's reasonably ambiguous, it takes lots of practice, so it's something that we've focused on with developing tasks like this, to look at understanding of words, which is really important, I think, and it's hopefully it's sort of things that they can take into other lessons as well. Okay, so what we hope to do is to be able to introducing sort of tasks like this with the faculty, getting the rest of the HAS faculty to work on these more abstract ideas and understandings, and being able to develop it not just with text, getting kids to analyse lots of different things, whether it be websites, videos. Using this sort of analytical approach to things is really important, and increasing their capacity to sort of think critically is really important.
And do you think literacy has a place in HAS?
Yes, because you've got to be able to get what you're trying to say over to the reader clearly, so that they can understand what information you're trying to give to them.
Now back to you, Pat.
Oh, Mr. McKay! Oh, look at him go! Oh. Keep working on that. Oh. Thanks for that, Ben. Need to practice my volleyball a bit, so I'm going to hand over to Dervs now, who's going to talk about what he's been up to.
Thanks, Pat. And I think we can safely say that enthusiasm is the strong point of your game. In Year 9 volleyball, we wanted to expand the students' volleyball vernacular using contemporary terms that are more relevant to the modern game. We also understand that students learn in different ways, and in our subjects that's largely practically based in the junior years, these assignments provide another means of learning and consolidating what was being taught in class. It gives us an insight into the students' scholastic capabilities and, most importantly, listening and comprehension skills. The assignments generally start with the students needing to display detailed understanding of the technique and the principles of each skill. They are then asked to apply these concepts to match-like scenarios. Using higher order thinking skills to create and analyse strategies was a major change to the assignments. Ultimately, we are aiming to produce players that can display strong problem-solving capabilities during match play or tournaments. Right now we'll cross over to the Year 9 girls who are going to show some of the skills that they've learnt in terms of visual literacy and offensive plays, and then we're back to you, Pat. Thank you. Here we go. A. B. C. Meter. Meter behind. Team splitter. High outside. High outside behind. 11. Red. Black. Shoot. Backcourt A. Backcourt B. Pipe. Bic. Backcourt C. And backcourt D. And well done.
Let's get this.
Here we go.
A, B, C, D. Meter behind. Oh, seems like there's a bit more to volleyball than I first thought. Anyway, now it's time to go to a real subject. Over to you in maths, Angela.
Thank you, Patrick. As a member of the Literacy Teaching and Learning Community Group, my main aim was to improve the mathematical literacy in my Year 8 class. What I did in class was, at the end of each topic, just before a test, the students were given a written task to complete. Class time was allocated for guidance along with homework time. The task was introduced as, in maths, we have words with special meanings, and they were expected to write the meanings of each word listed under the mathematical literacy in the chapter as the topic was completed. It had to be in their own words, and they had to understand what they were writing. There couldn't be any cut and paste. This involves research by using the glossary at the back of the textbook and or using the internet. The task would be handwritten or word processed on their iPads and printed off. The second part of the task was to choose one word from the list and write its meaning along with one clear example, preferably an example which they were able to make up. And this again, it had to be done on their iPad and printed and presented as a poster to be displayed in the classroom. What worked and why? Well, as I said, the main objective was to see an improvement in the understanding of questions in assignments and tests. And I believe there has been a positive outcome, as when the students were completing their tests or assignments, I had a less number of students asking, "Hey Miss, I don't understand the question." So once they understood the question, they were able to work out the problem with minimal guidance. Students also, along with this, improved their IT skills, as there was a lot of collaborative learning in this area. And as we've done, the words and the meanings are displayed in our classroom for students to glance and refer to when needed. To take this further, I believe that it should be continued into Year 9 as an ongoing project, as it is a long-term goal. Now, how has the literacy assignment in our class helped you in your understanding of maths?
It's helped me understand what the words mean, so it helps me answer the questions better.
Well, the literacy task that you set us, we're finding out the meanings of the words. Now when we do tests and stuff, we can look at the words and have an idea of what they mean.
It's definitely helped a lot, because actually learning the words itself has helped with answering the questions, because it's got because maths words are way different. You don't just learn them in English class. You've got to actually understand the words so you can answer the questions correctly.
Now over to you, Toby.
Toby, it's recording.
Thanks, Angela. I got my Year 9 students to make a stop motion animation illustrating some technical language that we use in our science unit. The students had to illustrate 4 different interactions that happen between tectonic plates using plasticine. In science we have a lot of technical language, and we want students to have a deep understanding of not just the meaning behind the words, but how we use the words and how the words are constructed as well. Being able to use technical language is important across all science subjects. I showed the students how to make a stop motion animation using the camera on the computers and iMovie. I also showed them how to add in music and use titles as well to illustrate the ideas that they were talking about. As this was a bit of an experiment, I wasn't sure what the students would come up with, so I left the design and planning stage fairly short. I just gave them what I wanted to see. I left it up to them to make it. If I did it again, I would give the students more time to plan and give them a bit more of an idea about what I was expecting. That way, when they were producing it, they would spend less time just playing around and more time making sure their animation was as best as it possibly could be. My aim is to pass this on to my faculty so that they can use this as a learning task in their groups with their students. It's fun and I think it works nicely.
Do you think literacy is important in science?
Yeah, because we still have to do writing, we still have to interpret different words and definitions and how to set things out, how to explain them, so yeah.
Yeah, because you have to do write-ups and explain why you did certain things and certain experiments. But yeah, that's probably just about the only use for literacy in science.
So that's it from me. Now I'll hand back to Patrick. No!
Whoops. Anyway, that's enough science for me for one day. I'm going to hand over to Carmel now to talk about her part.
Thanks, Pat. Over the past 2 years, I have worked steadily to support the literacy skills of students in my years 8 and 9 HAS classes. We are well into the Australian curriculum, which has presented its own challenges, requiring students to use a variety of audio, written and visual sources, and to use analytical skills to evaluate their relevance. They are also required to produce more complex responses. One of my favourite practical activities is the lotus diagram with colour-coded cards. For example, in getting students to consider the effects of the Industrial Revolution, this activity helps students firstly focus on 4 major areas, secondly organise their research, and thirdly provide structure for the explanatory text that was going to follow. Given the emphasis placed on primary sources in history, improving students' visual literacy has been a priority, as many primary sources come in visual form. For example, students have been presented this term with images of scenes from the Bayeux Tapestry, Spanish Chronicles and the Aztec Code. Even though annotated examples were given, most students didn't have a good understanding. However, presenting them with animated versions not only enhanced their understanding, but also they enjoyed it more. Finally, Jack, one of my Year 8 history students, has introduced our class to Speak Selection, a tool that he finds very useful, and I'll let Jack explain.
Hello. The new feature I've discovered is called Speak Selection. Speak Selection is also good for people who are having difficulty with reading. And it's also good for listening, because you can also put this on an iPad, connect it to a loudspeaker, and you can have a teacher just from this. And all you have to do is go into your settings, general on the sidebar, Speak Selection will be there. It's really helpful for English and pretty much anything if you think about it.
Literacy is everyone's responsibility. The students here at Brighton Secondary School are our responsibility. As you've just heard from the students themselves, literacy is a critical tool for survival in our society. And that's why it's so important. And that's why it's an Australian curriculum priority.
Literacy, it's your problem.
It is your problem.
It's 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 your problem.
Literacy's your problem.
Remember, literacy is everyone's problem. Together,
It's our job to find a solution.
what are you going to do about it?
And what's your solution?